Hi there, my name's Colleen Hiscock. I'm the owner and chef at Java Jack's here in beautiful Rocky Harbor. I'm standing outside of our restaurant, and here in the rhubarb patch we are going to make some rhubarb crisp. I'm going to harvest some rhubarb actually for it. Now here's how you harvest the rhubarb. Have a look down here at the roots, and you're going to pull them all one at a time, just like this, so that you leave the rest of the plant actually intact. We'll just pull them out. Some of them are ready, some of them are not. We're going to get enough for our rhubarb. Just take the ends here. This is how you take them out, is to make sure that you peel them out almost like how a piece of celery actually peels out. So now we've got ourselves a rhubarb. We're going to head back to the kitchen and clean the rhubarb and make ourselves the rhubarb crisp. Here I are, back in the kitchen, and we're washing the rhubarb. I have these wonderful, lovely stalks of rhubarb. I'm taking off the ends and the leaf, just only what we need to. If you'll notice, I'm storing it in water here. And I have it sitting in water because there is a whole water system inside here where the water is going. Okay, I think I am ready to start the rhubarb crisp, and we have a wonderful amount of rhubarb here, and we can start to chop that up. We're going to get started with the rhubarb crisp, and the first thing we're going to do is turn on the oven. We're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Here we are, 375 on bake. And we'll just wait till that's done. So we're just going to cut them to about 1/4 of an inch, whole stalks. You can take them more than once in a bunch, and 3/4 of an inch, and you have yourself a nice bite-sized piece that this fresh rhubarb will hold. Now if you have a rhubarb patch, I encourage you to process the rhubarb like this in 3/4 inch pieces and put it into the freezer, into a Ziploc bag. Try and take out as much of the air as possible so it's already ready. When we make our rhubarb crisp with this fresh rhubarb, we're going to be able to see the bite-sized pieces that we have in there already. So that's the first part of our fruit. The second part that we're going to use is we're going to use these Granny Smith apples. So we also know there's a lot of moisture in rhubarb. In particular, if you're going to use frozen, we're going to use a couple of apples in our rhubarb crisp. Not so much for the flavor, but for the function of the apple. The skin, the peel, contains quite a bit of pectin. And that pectin, of course, is the type of ingredient that's used in most of the jams that you see, and the jams used as a thickening agent. So we're going to just cut this up fairly small. I don't want to be too worried that I'm going to see this. The skin has a lot of pectin in it, so we're going to keep the skin on, and it's going to cook down through the process. And so this will help to hold that moisture and create that lovely syrup. Now that we've got the apple and the rhubarb ready, about 2.5 cups of rhubarb is what we have in here, and about 3/4 of a cup of apple, 1 apple, and about 10 stalks of rhubarb, I suppose. We are going to add a little bit of flour, so a tablespoon of flour we're going to add in here. Of course, you know, it's very tart. We're going to add quite a bit of sugar in here. It will help to make that wonderful syrup. That's about 1/2 cup. I'm not going to use it all. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. Because cinnamon makes everything taste better. Here we are, and the rest of that sugar. Voila. We're going to let that sit for a moment. We're going to stir it up and coat all of that rhubarb and the apples. We're going to pour it into this dish, just like that, and we're going to get ready to make the topping. Okay. Voila. Looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got our fruit ready. We're going to add a little squeeze of lemon over top of it just to brighten it. It's like the equivalent of salt, if you will. Now we're gonna make the topping for this. 1 cup of oats, 1/3 of a cup of flour, so that's a main mixture, and we can mix that up. I've got a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, wonderful for sweetness, and as well helps with the browning. So we're just gonna mix that together. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of cinnamon in here. I'm gonna have a pinch of nutmeg into this particular one, maybe a little extra. And we're gonna stir it all up. All of that brown sugar now has the lumps out of it. I have 1/3 of a cup of butter that I'm gonna put in here. And we'll mix that up so it has a little crumbly texture in there. And then we're gonna put it over the top of our fruit and put it into bake. There we go. I'm gonna just put it right onto the top of our fruit. That'll help to hold it in. The flours and the oats will help with that moisture that's going to be in there. And we're gonna put that straight into the oven. Put this on a sheet, cookie sheet, in case it does happen to bubble over. I'm not really expecting it to. We've got enough ingredients in here that it shouldn't bubble over too much, but just in case. Off we go. I'm gonna turn it down now to 375. We're gonna let it bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I turned down the temperature just a little bit because I saw that it was browning a little bit too much for me. So that was about 5 minutes left, and I just wanted to make sure it was all cooked. Have a little look inside here. It's bubbling lovely, and that's what you want to see. You want to see all the juices bubbling, and it's ready. Okay, so our crisp is still warm, and so we'll have a little dish of that. It's wonderful to have it warm. You can have it cold, have it for breakfast. It's got all kinds of goodness. Look at the inside of this. It's got a little syrup. It's not too gluey, and nobody wants gluey crisp. It's got a little syrup in here. It will taste amazing. And you can still see the lovely red of the rhubarb in here, and that's what you want. So I'm gonna put a little bit in here. I have a little bit of vanilla yogurt that I'm gonna put on here, just to add a little bit of dairy, and I'm gonna have a little taste. I'm sure it's amazing. Oh my, very good. So you can see us online, subscribe to our Facebook page, and for now, till next time, I'm Colleen Hiscock. Bon appetit.